Hello, everybody. What is going on? All right, all right. I see we got some people in the comments. Hello, Diane. Shout out to Diane. She's a Sabby Sabs member. Welcome, Radical Leftist Agenda, who is also a Sabby Sabs member. Ashura, does Sabby know about Tim? I know she's been wanting on. Oh, yes, I do know. Welcome, Eric Thomas. Tim Black is very angry with us, all of us. Well, hello, Death Leopards, just in time. Welcome. Hey, Lawrence, always a pleasure to see you here. Greetings, Trevor. How are you? Hey, Matt, what is up? Hello, C. Lou. Nice to see you. Hi, Andrew. Great appearance on the van. Thanks so much. That was an awesome time. Hey, Joe, how's it going? I am doing great, and I hope that you are too. Welcome, Inquisitive Dreamer, who is a Sabby Sabs member. Sabby was on the Vanguard. Yes, I was earlier today at 4 o'clock. Hi, J Mo. Hello from Chicago. All right. I need to go back to Chicago and get me some of that deep dish pizza. Only one slice this time, though. I underestimated myself last time. Hello, Philosophical Wisdom. How are you doing? Aziz, hi, Sabby. Are you Tim Black approved? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Let me make sure I'm on Ethernet and not. Yeah, I am. Okay. Just double check in there. Let me close out a screen. Uh-oh. Where did I go? Oh, there I am. That was weird. All right. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sabby Sabs Podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. I want to remind everyone that Sabby Sabs Podcast is affiliated with the Fredhampton Leftist Network. Can't talk, man. It's been a lot going on today. So you can catch me over at Fredhampton Leftist Podcast on Thursdays for their roundtable and on Fridays for Sabby Sabs Show. Both are at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can catch me here on my channel. I'm going to check out some of the comments before we get into today's stories. Oh, man, some of these comments. Hello. Uh-oh, I jumped ahead. Hello, Greg. Tim Black is a Jeff Campbell Democrat. Ouch. Ow. The pain. JM, what is up? Saw you in BJG Good Vibes Only chat. What'd you think? That was an awesome stream. Yeah. Brianna Joy Gray had a good vibe stream last night. Really awesome. Talking a lot about like where do we go forward after Nina Turner's campaign, and what we need to do in the Black community as well. That was a really good stream. Hello, Diana. Hey, David, how are you? The Sabster. Greetings, Emily. Hello, you. Hello, Uke. God. Hello, Luke from the UK. I don't know what's going on today. Hey, Steve, how are you? How's it going? J-Mo, Tim Black is about to go the way of Ben Dixon. Oh, man. You guys are a trip, man. You guys are funny. Hello, Valerie. Ashura, how many pizza slices did you get to eat a stomach? She's talking about the deep dish pizza. When I was in Chicago, My husband and I and my friend Susanna, we were at, I think the name of that place is Giordano's. It begins with a G. And we got like a pizza pie or a pie. And I was thinking to myself, I could have like 2 slices of pizza. I usually have 2 slices. Dude, I could barely make it through one. So I was not prepared for the real deep dish. So yeah, definitely surprised myself there. Hey, Win, how are you? What is going on? Hey, Ramsey, hello. Diana, love seeing you on the Vanguard. Excellent discussion. Thanks so much. Those guys were cool. Uh oh, these comments. Funny, 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 funny. Sabby Sabs, I am not a she. Oh dear. Sorry, Ashura. That's my bad. Yes. Giordano's. That's the name of it. All I remember is there was a long wait time, but the pizza was really, really good. Lauren said Chicago pizza is not an appetizer, it is a meal. I learned that the hard way. Definitely. All right, all right. I have 3 stories for you guys tonight. We are going to talk about the student loan extension that happened recently by Biden and what I really think that means, and whether or not I think that's enough. Second story we're going to talk about is Vaush and Charlie Kirk had a debate about critical race theory, and Vaush made a comment about reparations that, yeah, I'm going to talk about. And the last story that we're going to get into is the petition for stimulus checks that is going around. So I want everybody to know about that so you guys can sign that and pass that on to as many people as possible. So without further ado, let's get into, let me close out this tab, the student loan payments. So if you do not know, student loan payments have been extended until the end of January 2022. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and give you my take on this real quick before I show you the video. Some people are saying that they feel that this is a bold move by the Biden administration. I don't think it's bold. I don't think it's bold enough. And there are some liberals walking around and they're like, oh, Biden is doing such a great job. Isn't Biden doing such a great job? I do not think so. I don't think it's bold. I don't think it's bold enough. And I am going to tell you my take on that. Ashura, at Sabby Sabs, Tim Black has exposed his inner girls from the Isle of Misfit Black Girls, and Uncle T self is coming out. LOL. Yeah, man. We talked about that on Vanguard earlier. So if you guys haven't seen that Vanguard's live stream earlier today, definitely check that out because that was the first topic that we discussed. Let's get into this video though. Because when I first saw this, I was like, I knew it right away that people were going to say that this is bold and this is very good for the Biden administration. I actually do not believe that. I think this is going to only delay problems. So here's the video talking about the student loan extensions. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Share audio. All right. Make sure my audio's up, and here we go.
We've got a news alert here on student loan relief and the White House. Elon Roy has it. Elon.
Sarah, the Biden administration is extending the pause on student loan payments, interest, and collections through January 31st of next year. The administration says that this pause in payments and this final extension will help give borrowers additional time to plan for the resumption of payments and reduce the risk of delinquency and default after it restarts. The administration does say this is the final extension. This is also an answer to progressive lawmakers like Senator Elizabeth Warren, who have been calling on the administration to take this step. Already, Senator Warren is out with a statement welcoming the news, but also calling on the administration to additionally cancel up to $50,000 worth of student debt. Now, the White House does not go that far, but does say that this pause on payments has been a lifeline for students and that it hopes that giving this extra time to transition will help aid in the recovery. The program now ending on January 31st, 2022. Guys.
Elon, thank you.
This is how you become.
I'm going to play it one more time because I think there was an echo because I had my mic on. So let me go back to that. It's a short video. So one more time. Student loan debt. And they think that this is going to be enough. I disagree. I have serious reservations about this. Sorry. Ad. All right. Here we goes. Sorry, guys. Want to make sure I have the correct volume for you. All right. There we go. Share audio, and then I need to mute my mic.
Here on student loan relief and the White House. Elon Moy has it. Elon.
Sarah, the Biden administration is extending the pause on student loan payments, interest, and collections through January 31st of next year. The administration says that this pause in payments and this final extension will help give borrowers additional time to plan for the resumption of payments and reduce the risk of delinquency and default after it restarts. The administration does say this is the final extension. This is also an answer to progressive lawmakers like Senator Elizabeth Warren, who have been calling on the administration to take this step. Already, Senator Warren is out with a statement welcoming the news, but also calling on the administration to additionally cancel up to $50,000 worth of student debt. Now, the White House does not go that far, but does say that this pause on payments has been a lifeline for students and that it hopes that giving this extra time to transition will help aid in the recovery. The program now ending on January 31st, 2022. Guys.
All right. Let me shout out this super chat, and then I'm going to tell you the problem with this. Thanks so much for the super chat, Blue Moon Red Wine. By 2022, I will owe 2 homes in student loan debt interest. This is the problem with just extending it. So here we go. So the Biden administration really believes that by extending student loan payments, extending that period, is actually going to make a difference and help borrowers. It is not. Let me tell you what we're dealing with right now. In September, unemployment, that's done. I believe the last day of that September 6th, unless they extend that, I don't have hopes that they will, but in September, that's done. Now, they extended the eviction moratorium for another 60 days. I also said that is also going to be problematic because if you don't have the money to pay your rent right now, you're not going to have that money 2 months from now either, and you have to pay the back rent. How are you supposed to come up with all that money? Not to mention that it doesn't include every state and every city. So some people have already been evicted, and we are going into winter. So what is going to happen? If they don't cancel, they need to cancel the rent. If they don't cancel the rent after these 60 days, we're going to see more people, millions of Americans evicted from their homes. kicked out, and we're going into winter. Nobody wants to be homeless, period. But people definitely don't want to be homeless in the winter. Now we're going into January, and they're telling student borrowers that you have until the end of January now to start paying back your student loans. What if you've been laid off and you still haven't found a job and you've been actively looking? And I know people who have been actively looking. What if you have been demoted? I know people that have been demoted because their companies just can't afford to pay everybody the salaries anymore since COVID happened. You see, Joe Biden really thinks that all of a sudden, within this month, these months period, we get into January, all of a sudden, we're going to magically have all this money that we owe. This is the reality of people who don't have to worry about these issues. This is the reality of people who are the elites, the wealthy people, the rich people. They don't think this is a big deal. This is not going to help the economy in any way, shape, or form. If you want to help the economy, if you really want to help the economy, you need to cancel student debt, all of it. Not $10,000, Joe Biden, not $50,000, Elizabeth Warren. You need to cancel all of it. My generation, some of the kids that came behind me, they don't have these jobs that are paying them the salaries that they need to pay off their student loan debt. And if they don't have the money to pay off their student loan debt, they don't have the money to purchase a home. They don't have the money and the means to get married, to start families. Our economy is going to continue to suffer. Cancel the student loan debt. Why all these extensions? Let's extend it to this month. Let's extend it to that month. That is just prolonging the debt. What? You think we're going to owe less because you extended it to January? We're not going to owe less. I'm going to go to some of the comments in the chat. Hey, Malik, how are you? What is going on? Always nice to see you. Super Patriot says defund the military industrial complex. Exactly. Why are we giving the military so much money? Are we at war? Are we at war, you guys? Somebody tell me something. Is there a secret out there that I don't know about? We're not at war. We're going to other countries abroad, bombing people that we have no interest, no conflict with, because they have the resources that we need. Super Patriot says, definitely cancel student loans. Absolutely. Get rid of it. Just let it go. Radical Leftist Agenda, who's a Sabs member, says, why don't we have control over what our tax dollars are spent on? That is a good question. Why don't we? We have no say-so. Because I can tell you, I would not elect to have my tax dollars spent on the military industrial complex. They have enough money. They don't need any more. Where a Pilgrim said, no, debt is what makes you stronger. LOL. It's absolutely insane. Now, I'm going to tell you why they won't cancel student debt. They're not going to cancel it because we have student loan predatory companies like Sallie Mae that have PACs that have funded politicians in Congress and in the Senate, Democrat and Republican. This is why I tell you the two-party system, they're the same. They're corporate. And if you don't believe me that that's where their interests lie, what did Nancy Pelosi do recently? What did Nancy Pelosi do recently? She got a call from one of her donors who told her not to cancel the student debt. They're supposed to be working for us. They're not supposed to be working for their donors, but this is what they do. They are corporate. I've told people this time and time again. The government actually does not run the country. Corporations do, because corporations run the government. LK said Sally Mae is too big to fail. Absolutely. Sally Mae has been very vocal about the fact that they have representatives that sit on the Hill that make sure that companies like them stay in business. And there are other student loan companies out there, but Sally Mae, ooh, they are notorious. They are the worst. That is why they won't cancel student loan debt, because they are bought and paid for by companies like Sally Mae. Predatory lenders. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Cancel is part 1. Boost money to state/city universities to make it free. Part 2. We want to make sure we don't end up in some place again, in the same place again. Absolutely. Listen, I work in higher ed, and I'm here to tell you, the students graduating right now from college are acquiring some of the highest levels of debt that we have seen. And they are told, and they were told the same thing that I was told when I was in high school, that if you want to be successful, that if you want a good life, go to college. Then you can have a good career and you can make a lot of money, or you can make enough money to have a decent living. They were fed the same lie that I was fed. My generation was fed. I don't know anyone that didn't have some type of student loan debt. Anyone. I know people that are sitting here wondering right now, am I going to be able to pay off my student loans before I die? How did we get here? How did we get here in a country like America, that is the wealthiest country in the world, where at one point in time, these colleges didn't cost that much to attend? I'm listening to people, older people, tell me about how they pay like $100 a semester to go to college. Why was my generation, why are the Gen Zs, I'm a millennial, why are the Gen Zs, why are they charging these kids $50,000, $60,000 a year to go to school? And that's not just the private universities. Some of the state universities are ridiculously overpriced now. The University of Massachusetts in Amherst, the flagship campus, they're charging kids like $30,000 a year now. It's a state school. Kids are graduating from college with like $100,000, $200,000 in student loan debt. And then you have these companies out here that only want to pay them the bare minimum. Take this entry-level position, even though you went to college and you got this degree. You have companies out here telling my students that they only want to pay them $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, and they're graduating with a master's degree. Get out of here. My parents didn't go through that. I have a super chat I'm going to go to just a second. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Like how union leaders are against Medicare for all since they'd be giving up a bargaining chip to get elected. Military don't want free college because for the same reason when it comes to recruitment. Roger Meadows, thank you so much for bringing up that point, because that is significant. Check this out. One of the perks for joining the military, free college. Join the military pay for your schooling. think it's up to a certain amount, probably like $60,000 or something like that. I forget. I got to double check the amount. And that's the thing. If they were to make all public universities free, the military doesn't have that perk anymore to try to recruit kids from lower income neighborhoods, because the military heavily recruits Black and brown kids from low income communities. You don't see them going to suburban schools in wealthy neighborhoods. Thank you so much. Shout out to Java the Cat, who is a Sabby Sabs member. Thank you for becoming a member. I could preach about this all night. Eric Thomas said, need to get college degree just to have a shot at earning a living wage. Yes, this is the problem we've come to in this country. When my parents graduated from high school, my parents didn't have to go to college to have a living wage. That's why they had no student loan debt. My generation, that was very different. Kids graduating today from high school, it's very different. And for the people who like to use these talking points of, well, just go work in construction. Honey, everybody can't work in construction. There's jobs in construction, but there's not enough jobs for everybody to work in construction. For the people who say, just join the military, not everybody can join the military. And you shouldn't have to join the military industrial complex just so you can make it in this country. Valerie said, I have a 4-year degree to work part-time with no benefits. Let's talk about benefits, because some of these kids are graduating college and they're accepting the first job offer they receive because the economy is crap. And they're afraid if they don't accept it, then they may not get a job. And some of these jobs don't even offer benefits. You go to school, you went to school for 4 years or 4+1 programs where you get the bachelor's and the master's degree within 5 years. You do all this schooling and the job offer that you get is with the company that tells you they don't want to offer you any benefits. Oh, and by the way, when they don't want to offer dental, that one's my favorite, because your teeth aren't important, I guess. This is what these kids are facing today. And for the people who tell them to just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, some of us don't have boots or straps. It's easy to say that when you did it back in your day. We are living a different time. The economy is terrible. And just because you're doing well, that doesn't mean everyone else is. Going to comments in the chat. Diane, shout out. She's a Sabby Sabs member, said, my daughter and son-in-law have 3 bachelor's degrees between them. I had to get them through the pandemic. There you go. There you go. So I don't like to just talk about the problems. I like to talk about possible solutions. So what is the solution to this? Because the Biden administration has made it very clear they are not going to cancel student debt. They want us to continue to struggle in this country. My response is, we got to have a debt strike. At this point, it just has to happen. This is the only way that the Biden administration is going to hear us. We have to have a strike in this country where we say, you know what? We're not paying it. We want you to cancel it. And it's going to take a lot of us. And it's going to take some of us that don't have student loan debt to protest. It's going to take some of us that didn't go to college. It's going to take some of us that had parents that were able to pay for everything, and we never had to think about it. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take wealthy people, middle-class people, low-income people, poor people, all of us. Because come January, We're going to have millions of people out on the street because they've been evicted because of that eviction moratorium extension is only 60 days. We're going to have millions of people in this country that are off unemployment that still haven't found a job. And then we're going to have all these people that have to start paying their student loan debt, trying to figure out how the heck they're going to come up with the money. Now, I say that's enough of us to get together and have a debt strike. I want to shout out some of the super chats. Steve, thanks so much. You are beautiful and the show is great. Oh, thank you, Steve. That's really sweet. I missed one. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Our ancestors who came out of slavery with blue collar skills, third grade education gave us wrong advice. I felt that, Roger. Saying don't be like me and work with your hands, get an education instead. Once we gave up Home Depot skills, that was it. That's deep, Roger. Let me ask you guys a question. For any of you that work in the education system like me, why did they stop teaching kids woodshop skills? Why did they stop teaching kids these skills in school? How many of us in the chat, those of you watching, how many of us know how to build something with our hands? I know how to put together a bookshelf, but I don't know how to actually build something. How many of us know how to grow our own food? Why did they stop doing this? Why did they defund the arts in the schools? Why did they take out woodshop? Why did they stop teaching home ec? Why did they stop teaching life skills that people need to get by in this country? Hi, pitchforks are coming. Nice to see you. Shout out to Lila. She's a Sabby Sabs member. She said, thank you. Eric Thomas said, standardized testing. Got to tell you something about standardized tests. Standardized tests are inherently racist and sexist. They are not designed for people of color to succeed. They are not designed for women to succeed. It's little things. It's the way they word the questions. It's the questions that they choose. It's the sequence of the questions. It's the multiple choice answers that they give you. I could do a whole nother show about that. Things that I learned about standardized tests. I think I missed a super chat. I did. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Debt strike. You were watching Professor Wolf today, busted. I didn't see him today, but I did have him on a while back. And I'm glad you brought him up, Roger, because there's something that he said to me that I want to say to everybody here if you did not see that interview. For all the younger people watching this, one of the things that Professor Wolf said is that the great days of American capitalism are behind us. He said that for my generation, whatever I do, whatever we do, don't let anybody tell us that it was our fault, because then we lose. And that really made me think, because I thought about the things that people said to my generation during the 2008 housing crisis when I saw people lose their homes. Here we are again, second time in my adult life where I'm seeing people lose their homes in the wealthiest country in the world. And I remember feeling somewhat guilty. I remember feeling like maybe I should have worked harder, even though I was working a full-time job and a part-time job at night with a college degree. And that was just to get by because my full-time job did not pay enough for me to pay my rent. And that was in Columbia, South Carolina, which has a low cost of living. I remember going on job interviews and people saying to me that they wanted to offer me $9 an hour with a college degree. We have kids graduating today right here in Boston, Massachusetts, graduating from college, and we got companies offering them $15 an hour. Or worse, companies saying $15 an hour entry level, and we want you to have 5 years work experience. The fuck? If they just graduated from college, how do they have 5 years work experience? Now, I'm no mathematician, but that doesn't add up to me. This is how it is right now. This is how real it is right now. I'm seeing job postings that 2 years ago would have required 3 years experience, now asking for 7 years and a master's degree and lower pay. And we expect the younger generation to go out and succeed all of that with all of that and pay off their student loan debt and shame them for not starting families, for not getting married, for not buying a house. How dare they? Shout out to Diane. She's a Sabby Sabs member. I've been binge watch Chris Hedges talk about speaking truth to power. Yes, he's another one. He's been talking about this stuff. Eric Thomas says, I wish Professor Wolf was my grandpa. I love it. I love it. I want to tell you something else about student loans before I move on to the next story. Student loan debt. This is personal to me. And I'm going to show you why. Check this out. African American women disproportionately owe more student loans than other races. Let me scroll down. Let me give you some numbers here. Americans now hold 1.7 trillion in outstanding student loan debt, with women accounting for 2/3 of all outstanding student loans. Black women take on the most substantial debt burden with an average of more than 41,400 AAUW fines. In comparison, white women take on cumulative student debt of nearly $34,000. Something else I want to point out here, which is incredibly important. Researchers attribute the disparity to the student debt crisis and the gender wage gap, which make it difficult for women to get by, let alone get ahead. Listen to this. In the past, AAUW had found that Black and low-income students, regardless of gender, have disproportionately struggled the most to pay off their student debt. So for me, it's personal. And I see it all the time. Emily said, damn, that's right on. Oh, sorry, Jilly Love. I clicked on the wrong one. I can come back to that one. Hey, Zeus said 1,400 equals 2,000. So 0 equals 5 work experience. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, they be coming up with these crazy numbers, man. Chris Richard, thanks so much for the super chat. I love Professor Wolf. That gets me. It's hard to be a middle-aged adult and not feel ashamed of not having your own house or some degree of wealth. Shame is an anchor. It pulls you down. That is deep. You guys getting deep in the chat tonight. I got to tell you, I'm not one of those people who just gets on here and talks to you about these things because I read about it, I heard about it, I lived it. I know about student loans. I know about student loan debt. I know about being underpaid. I know about the gender gap, the gender wage gap. I know that it exists because when you talk to your colleagues and you talk to your coworkers and you realize that they have the same years of experience as you, the same degree as you, and yet because they're a man, they were offered more than you were for the same position. That's why your supervisors don't want you to tell your coworkers what you make. Shout out to Dethea Simmons. This is what the fall of the empire looks like. Yes, guys, we are crumbling. I got to tell you, over the past year, after we went on lockdown for COVID in Massachusetts, I have been very hesitant to buy and purchase things. I can't remember the last time I bought clothes. That's why a lot of times when you see me on here, you see me wearing the same thing. And just keeping it real. It's been a long time since I bought clothes. I'll still buy my makeup. But the things, everyday things that I used to buy, I'm so afraid because I don't know what is going to happen. And a lot of people think that the worst of this is over, but I do not believe it. I just told you what is coming. And if the Biden administration comes back and they change things, I'll come back, I'll eat my words and say, my bad, I was wrong. But I don't think they will. And the storm is just beginning. Once these 60 days are up, like I said, more people will be evicted. Then we're heading into winter. Then you got people being homeless outside in the winter. Then we're heading into January and everybody got to pay their students, start paying the student loans again. Some people don't have the money. They don't have it. They've been laid off. But sooner than all of these is September. And unemployment is going to be that they're cutting it. That is done. Do you know what kind of pressure that must put on someone that they have to find a job? Like, dude, September 6th, it's not far away. Do you know what kind of pressure that is on that person? You got to find this job by this date because your money is done. And I think we all know, even when you find a job, it's not like you get paid right away. So you have to make time for that. And if you were a part of the eviction moratorium, now you got to come up with all that back rent on top of the rent that you currently owe for the new month. See, people like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, they don't understand that. They don't understand that because these people are wealthy. These people are set for the rest of their lives. If Nancy Pelosi left Congress today, she is set for the rest of her life. You only need 5 years, guys, to get the pension. Then they get speaker fees, engagement fees. So yes, when I am angry that people that we voted for and we put in office don't do the things that we told them to do, yes, I have the right to be pissed. Dale, thanks so much for the super chat. All of these things that are coming and we are still out here blaming each other and seeing everyone as the enemy. Humanity is at a crew here. We need to figure this out. We need each other. We do need each other, Dale. This is why I'm telling you guys, look, let's talk about this for a second. I know that there are some of you that still want to do things through electoral politics, and that is your right and that is your choice and your freedom to do so. And I know that there are some who want to move away from that and want to do things through mutual aid and helping people in your community, general strikes. And that is your choice to do that as well. What I will say is this. If you are a part of the group that wants to continue to do things through electoral politics, again, that's your right to do so. However, in the short term, we need action now. We don't have time to wait until 2022 when people's seats are up. We don't have time to wait and fund another candidate to go into office and hope that they do what they say they're going to do. People are going to be evicted in 60 days. This is why I tell you we need a general strike. We really got to hit Amazon and Walmart and all. We have to hit them in the pocket. And the reason why we have to hit the corporations in their pocket is because they are the ones that run the government. They are the ones that are donors of all these politicians that we have in Congress and we have in the Senate. So the only way that the Pelosi's, the Schumers, hell, even the AOCs are going to listen to us is if we hit their donors in the pocket. Going to some of the comments in the chat. Jilly Love has a point, especially since our elections are not verifiable. Well, there you go. Some people, you guys, some people don't have time to wait on that. For some people, this is a life or death situation. Now, for some of the people who are all set and are wealthy and are good, they can tell you, let's do this next election. Let's put this next candidate. They can tell you that. Let's donate to this next candidate to get them through. Because time is on their side. But for some people, time is not on their side. And those people need help right now. And speaking of those people, I am going to put this in the chat. Mutual aid organizations. Yes. I'm going to put this link in the chat for all of you and feel free to copy it and share it with as many people as possible. Because for those people that I told you that can't wait, for those people that I told you that don't have time, there is a way that you can help them now. The link that I just put in is called mutualaidhub.org. If you go to that website, you will see all the mutual aid organizations in your area. This is across the United States. You may think you don't have them, but you might be surprised because they're there. I knew we had some in Boston, but I didn't realize we had as many as we do. That is how you can help those people. But something has to change. I am so sick and tired of seeing GoFundMes because people are about to lose their homes. So going on to the next story. There is a petition that is going around, and I'm going to pull this up because this is another thing that we need to really fight for. I've already signed it. Man, Yahoo with these ads, man. Really? Okay, I've already signed it. I'm going to share my screen. The next story I want to talk about is monthly stimulus checks. So check this out. Here we go. A petition nearing 3 million signatures calls for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks for every American. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to put this in action. So far, 2.7 million and rising have signed a petition calling for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks for every American. The petition was started by Stephanie Bonin, a Colorado restaurant owner, and was first posted on Change.org last year. So, more and more They have been able to gain more and more signatures. This is very important. Let me go to story continues. Yes. This is a better screen. Let me make sure it flipped to that screen. Let me stop sharing. Go to the other screen. There we go. This one is so much better. Yes. Sign to join our movement to get recurring. I hate these ads, man. To get recurring checks to the people. All right, here we go. Our country is still deeply struggling. The recovery hasn't reached many Americans. The true unemployment rate for low wage workers is estimated at over 20%. And many people face large debts from last year for things like utilities, rent, and childcare. These are all the reasons that the checks need to be targeted to people who are still struggling and that Congress needs to learn from this past year. It took 9 months for Congress to send a second stimulus check and just moments to spend it. Moving forward, Congress needs to make recurring checks automatic if certain triggers are met. No more waiting around our government for our government to send the help we need. Sign to join our movement to get recurring checks to the people. Now, some of you may see this and think, oh, but what is this going to do? We don't know until we try, you guys. We don't know until we try. Let me find that link. I think I have to go to that link. Give me just a second. I want to hear people's thoughts on this. Valerie said, we should have gotten UBI from the beginning of the pandemic. Yes. Why didn't the United States do the same thing that New Zealand did? Why? Somebody tell me the answer to that. I see I missed some super chats here, so let me just go up for just a second. Virtual Jonathan, thanks so much for the super chat. Are you connected at all with the Community Church of Boston or Center for Marxist Education in Cambridge? I am not connected to any community church because I have had bad experiences in the past where churches have taken up funds and they have not used those funds for what they were for. So I am very hesitant to donate money to churches for different causes. That's just been my personal experience. I can't, speak for everyone else, but I have not had the best experience with that, but thanks so much. I'm not a part of the Center for Marxist Education in Cambridge, but I will check that out. Thank you so much. Let me go down to the super chat. Thanks so much for the super sticker. Be bok soon. I get that. That's cute. Making sure I didn't miss one more. Oh, I did one more. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Before FDR, robber barons owned government. FDR to Carter, maybe Ford unions owned the government. Reagan till now core. Time for rise of worker-owned coups to be a financial political force to hedge bets in both parties. You guys ever notice that for whatever reason, some companies don't have unions? And I know some people have different opinions about unions, but they can fight for the worker. Eric Thomas said Fed dollars belong to everyone. Phenomenal Mysticism said online petitions can sometimes work, but most of the time politicians just ignore them. Yeah, so that's good to know, Phenomenal Mysticism. And that being said, that's all the more reason for a general strike. Now, I know some of you have asked questions before about oh, the virtual Jonathan is not a traditional church. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't realize that, but I'll look into it. um Some of you were asking me before about that general strike that is scheduled for October. I'm going to pull that up again and I'm going to put that in the chat because not everyone had the chance to see that stream that I did with Jackie about the October general strike. And I think they may have added more information to their website. So I'm going to put this link in the chat. But really quickly, I'm going to show you what they're asking for. And what I mentioned in that stream is that we still do need a lot of mutual aid before we can do for a general strike to be really successful. Because the larger corporations like Walmart and Amazon, they can wait us out. So we need enough mutual aid so that people can pay their rent, their mortgage for a couple of months, man. Like a general strike for a week, 2 weeks, even just a month, that's not going to be enough. Amazon has so much money, you guys. Walmart has so much money. Thanks for the super chat, the virtual Jonathan. The community church is a communist front. They held a anti-imperialism rally the same day as the M for All. They do mutual aid, among other things. Thank you so much for letting me know. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Because as soon as you said church, I was like, oh, I haven't donated to churches before, and that money went to something else. Sometimes it went to the pastor's pocket. Think I missed a super chat. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Don't get me started on the Black church. I'll be here all day. Plus, COOP is short for cooperatives and CORE, short for corporations. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't get me started either. Don't get me started either on that. That's a whole nother show. Shout out to Lila. She's a Sabby Sabs member. Work our own co-ops the next step. Yes. That is another good idea. I think I missed if I missed you somewhere, I apologize. I think I may have missed a super chat. After a while, they disappear. Okay, I did get that one. Okay. Yeah, that one is funny. Don't get me started. There was another comment in the chat. Greg says, in my experience, unions in manufacturing can be self-defeating. It's a good point to mention. If you guys yeah, definitely tell me about your experiences with them. I've never been a part of a union, but I've heard about them from other people that have been, and some people have found them to be a very positive thing to be a part of. All right, we are about to go into 8 o'clock, and so that takes me to our last story, which is this. Oh, hold on. I didn't show you what they're asking for in this general strike. This is important for everybody to see if you haven't had a chance to see this yet. All right, this is what they're asking for that October general strike. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Here we goes. Our goals. They are asking for 25% corporate tax rate, no loopholes, free healthcare for all, 12 weeks paid paternity and maternity leave, $20 an hour minimum wage. I personally think that should be higher. 4-day work week. I'm all on board for that one. Stricter environmental regulations on corporations, bans on single use and microplastics, and limited emissions. So those are the things that they're asking for. And I think I put this in the chat. But like I said, I think that minimum wage request should be higher. If you're going to go through all that, if you're going to do a general strike, you need to ask for more money. Keith, thanks so much for the super chat. We need a concerted protest vote. Tell everyone to vote for a specific candidate. Show them how many there are of us. We're easy to ignore right now. Yeah, because they only know us when it's election season. You ever notice that? They forget about us the rest of the year. I only see them come around when they need a vote. All of a sudden, they're like, hey. All right, our last story. So, Vaush and Charlie Kirk, they had a debate about critical race theory. I'm going to pull up my screen here. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying this. I'm not a fan of either one. But there was something that Vaush said about reparations that really rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm going to be very vocal about that. So my comrade Nick from Fred Hampton Leftist tweeted about this. I'm not going to play the video because I do see I'm coming up on time. I'm going to try to get these down to 1 hour, you guys. I swear, one day I'm going to do it. I just can't make. Chris said, now there's a battle of the minds. I'm sorry, Greg said, now there's a battle of the minds. I looked at Chris and I saw Greg. And so I am going to share my screen. Let me hide my messages. I don't want you guys to see those because that that is telling. Where are we? All right. So my comrade Nick from Fred Hampton Leftist had something to say about this. This is what he said. Vaush just said during his debate with Charlie Kirk that we should pay reparations not based on race, but based on class. LMAO, reparations is a debt owed. This is why you don't have two white dudes debating critical race theory. Okay. What else did he say? Vaush doesn't drag right-wingers to the left. He turns them into Vaush fans and Biden voters. Damn. All right, let me come out of here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Shout out to Lila. She said, Lord. Okay, here we go. Reparations is not based on class. Reparations is a debt owed to Black people in this country. General Sherman had a promise after they freed the slaves that we would be given 40 acres and a mule. Didn't happen. And because that didn't happen, that means that Black people struggle to get land ownership in this country, which is one of the greatest factors of having wealth, of having net worth, which means that we didn't have land and homes to pass down generation after generation. We didn't have generational wealth to pass down. It's a debt that's owed. It's not like one day Black people just woke up and was like, hey, let's get some reparations. That's not how it works. And so to hear someone who is a rich kid from Beverly Hills try to tell Black people what reparations should be for, it's a slap in the face and it's appalling. This is who people are listening to. They're listening to this guy. This guy who was born into wealth. This guy who's from Beverly Hills. This guy who is not black. Try to tell people what reparations should be for. There's a lot going around on Twitter where people are like, we need to stop the leftist infighting. One of the things that Nick has said is that a lot of this infighting per se is a class divide on the left and a racial divide on the left. And I see it. And I know some other people see it. And I know there are not a lot of people talking about it. And when I see people who say that they are allies of mine defend this dude, stand up for this dude, but when he has used the N-word on his streams, make excuses for this dude, or say that they don't understand why people have a problem with this dude, you are not an ally. You are someone who is trying to say the things that you think both sides want to hear so that you can be cool on both sides. I will not stand for anyone. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how large your platform is. I don't care how much money you have. I will not stand for anyone sitting up here trying to diminish Black people's worth in this country. Someone who sits at a desk and plays boop, 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 boop. Let me play video games and let me just talk about politics and talk about race and class. Who has no experience of what it's like to be Black. Who has no experience of what it's like to struggle in this country. We were just talking about student loan debt. Pretty sure probably didn't have any. And this is the guy that is telling hundreds and thousands of people what Black people want, what reparations should be used for. This guy who is rich. So when people bring up leftist infighting, let me make something very clear. As a Black person, I am not going to sit here and let another white person, whether they are a leftist or not, try to tell me what is best for people in my community and what is best for Black people, Black leftists in this country, period. That is not going to happen. And if that makes me an infighter, then so be it. What I won't do is I won't sit here and just be quiet and just play goody-goody with everybody just so I can get along and put on a fake smile and pretend like these issues do not exist. This is not who you should be listening to on Black issues. This is not who you should be listening to about reparations. And I'm telling you right now, anyone who's watching this, I'm letting you know right now, if you told me that you were an ally of mine and you constantly defend this dude's racist language, his racist takes, the way that he sits up here and he diminishes Black people and he diminishes the Black experience in this country, and he tries to tell Black people what's really appropriate and what's not appropriate with our culture, I'm letting you know right now, you are not my ally. You are not my friend. And you can take this any way that you want. But I'm letting you know right now, if you did not hear it before, you are hearing it now. We are not allies. You take your shitty campaign and you go walk out the door. You get someone else to kiss your ass to help you win. But it won't be me. And you can say, well, that's Sabby going against a candidate. That's Sabby going against a progressive. No, boo. Because a true progressive wouldn't defend that shit. Shout out to Roger Meadows for the super chat. Reparations is a debt owed to the descendants of slaves in the 20th century Jim Crow. It wouldn't apply to Black immigrants who came after the LBJ Immigration Act. Yes, it's for the descendants of slaves, which is me. And so if there's any more questions about this, and the person I'm talking to, they know who they are. I'm going to make this very clear to you again. We are not allies. We are not friends. I will not sit here and continue to let you defend racist trash. I will not sit here and let you continue to pretend like you are on my side. Because if you were on my side, you would not put up with that type of behavior. Whether my friends were nice to you or not, the big difference is my friends don't call you racist names. My friends don't use racist language. My friends are not trying to sit here and take you down a level because of the color of your skin. But you have repeatedly defended someone who has constantly shit on us. That is not acceptable with me. And I can pretty much go ahead and tell you that's pretty not much acceptable with the rest of us over at FHL either. So don't you text me. Don't you call me. Don't email me. Don't fucking DM me no more. I am done. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Now, if you want to talk about reparations for all Black people who are victims of Reagan's drug war, leading Biden and Bill's mass incarceration, now different story. And that's a whole nother level there too. Because I still want to know why here in Massachusetts, we legalized marijuana. We have marijuana shops, but Governor Baker hasn't freed people who were in prison for marijuana. Hello. James Root said, when Sabby's fed up, it ain't nothing you can do about it. No, that's true, man. Listen, guys, I'll tell you with me, like, I tried to be nice. I really did. I tried to be nice. When people say things like, I want everybody to get along. I like both you guys. I want what's best for the movement. Defending racist friends, honey, that is not best for the movement. So you can take your campaign or whatever it is the hell you're trying to do, and you can shove it. Won't get any support from me. So that is my take on that, ladies and gentlemen. I have no tolerance for that BS, man. I have none. JVL said, Sabby is talking about Vaush as an example of arrogant white people negating reparations. You know, this is always wealthy people too. Like people who have everything. So yeah, that is my take on that. I highly recommend that all of you, if you want to learn more about these issues, for the love of God, please look towards commentators that are touching on these issues in a way that they are coming from a place that is genuine and that is sincere. they're not touching on these issues in a way to make their friends in their circle happy. And there's a lot of that going on. I don't have personal relationships with politicians. You may have seen me interview some of them, but I don't have personal relationships with them. And I'm glad that I don't, because it makes me see things differently. So shout out to Lila. She's a Sabby Sabs member. She said this 100. Wow, these are funny. Oh, whoops, missed one. Thanks so much for the super chat, Dale. Pascal Robert would be someone you should listen to, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. His talk with Brianna was really good. Yeah, I saw him on there last night. If you guys haven't had a chance to do that, you should watch the Bad Faith podcast episode. It was live streamed last night. That was a really good stream. I stayed up past my bedtime to finish that stream, you guys. I was like, it's past my bedtime, but it was so good. I had to keep watching it. So that was really great. Deborah. Hey, Deborah. At Socialist Humanist. That's why there are plenty of other progressive legislation for everyone, like Medicare for all, job guarantee, UBI. Yep. Thank you so much, New. You said great stream. Cora, I want to have a personal relationship with Jill Stein. You know what? That might be someone. Okay. I think that would be an exception for me. I've always been afraid of having those types of relationships with someone who's a politician because I feel it might cloud my judgment, you know? So, Joe Hickey, and don't talk about Vaseline. Oh, my God. Oh boy. I talked about that with Vanguard earlier, you guys. You should go check that stream out. That was their main story today. All right. So yeah, that is my take on that, guys. So again, I highly recommend that you know, when it comes to those types of issues, that you look to commentators that are being genuine, and you can tell the ones that are being genuine about it, and the ones that are saying what they need to say so that they can stay within like their friend circle. And that's why I'm really glad that when I started this podcast, I didn't really have any connections. Some people see that as a negative. I used to think that was a bad thing, but because I didn't have any connections, I'm able to just tell you just like the rawness of like how I feel. Now I've, made friends and like, I think I need to close a window. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, StreamYard does that sometimes. If I have too many windows open, it'll just go woo. These comments are hilarious. You guys think Jill Stein is hot? Is that where that's coming from? This is funny. Shout out to Lila, Sabby Sabs member. Read the room. Oh, I've never been in the room. Hank 21. It's hard to stay vegan 100%. I was vegan vegan before 6 for a year. And that basically meant like I was vegan before 6 p.m. But sometimes like after 6 p.m. I was also vegan. Um, it wasn't really for me. And I think that's because um I found myself feeling it gave me a lot of energy and I had difficulty falling asleep because of that. But then I also felt a little malnourished. But it is what it is. Thanks so much for the super chat, JM. Stay true to yourself and your community. Really been loving the content from FHL. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right. I'm about to get out of here, but I do have a special announcement for you guys. Give me 1 second. All right. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fred Hampton Leftist, Nick, Mr. at Socialist MMA, will be interviewing the one and only Brianna Joy Gray. Don't miss that. That is going to be amazing. Also, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Nick again, and I think someone else may be joining too. I forget, but we'll be interviewing Dr. Cornell West. So tomorrow over at FHL will be a amazing time. Don't miss this, you guys. Like you got Brianna Joy Gray and you got Dr. Cornell West. So if you didn't have any plans for tomorrow evening, now you do. Roger Meadows, thanks so much for the super chat. Let's separate electoral politics between state, local, and federal. When you discourage voting, it's also hurting improvement of state and local government and citizen ballot initiatives. You want to leave federal boxes blank too. Thanks so much for that, Roger. That is important. I'm glad you said that. That is true. I do say, like, if you want to get involved with politics, I recommend local politics, city council, the mayor's office, like participating with those positions, you can create more change. And if you want to run for office, people like look down on city council like it's not like the big deal, I guess. But city council controls the budget. So that is somewhere I recommend starting if you want to get involved in politics. I recommend doing it the local way. That's just my take on it. If you do want to go into Congress or Senate, I am a big supporter of third party. And I think we need to encourage more people to run third party, man. We got to do something about that. Do you guys know that at one point, Jill Stein had 7%? You only need 5 to get the federal funding. She went down after that because that's when they started to smear her. But yeah. So awesome. Yeah, tomorrow, definitely over on FHL. Check out Brianna Joy Gray's going to be there at 4. Dr. Cornell West is going to be there at 9 p.m. So that'll be really cool tomorrow. And I haven't decided if I'm going to stream tomorrow night or not. If I do, it has to be only for an hour because I don't want you guys to like miss those interviews. So I might do a stream at like 7. So, and that's about it. All right, guys, this is it. I'm out for real this time. I'm saying goodbyes. I hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, have a good night. Keep up the fight.